Visionaries is proud to present its 12th season on public television.
Visionaries is produced in partnership with the Ash Institute for Democratic Governance and Innovation at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Visionaries is made possible in part by W.G. and Margaret Gregg, the International Transport Workers Federation Seafarers Trust, the Campion Fund. Additional funding provided by
Sometimes you read the paper and watch the news, and it seems like there's more bad news than good in the world. But you know what? It's just not true.
I at least can hold on to something, that there's something, maybe it's small, but there's something that I'm doing to make a difference.
It's just a feeling that you have. If you can help people, you have to. There's no alternative.
Every child has potential that we just can't know. And so, to my mind, that's what we're doing. We are saving potential for the future.
In this country, we talk a lot about quality of life issues. Politicians and social scientists talk and talk about healthy environments, safe neighborhoods, and adequate housing. But is anybody really doing anything about it? In Los Angeles, at least, the answer is yes. LA has the largest number of rental units in the country. Until recently, thousands of people were living in substandard conditions. Slumlords ruled the day. Then the city stepped in with a stunning announcement. Every single housing unit in the city would be inspected, inside and out. Landlords would be given a list of violations and they would solve the problem or face the wrath of the law. Landlords went to court to stop the inspections. They lost. What happened next surprised everyone. As improvements were made, property values went up, and landlords became the program's biggest supporters.
The genesis of the SCEP program really did come from a groundswell of public concern. Essentially, a blue ribbon committee of citizens was formed from folks all around the city and came to the conclusion that the only way to truly solve the problem of slum housing and the prevention of slum housing was going to be through a systematic code inspection program that went citywide.
The SCEP program, Systematic Code Enforcement Program, the systematic is very important. That represents a sea change in the way that code enforcement is being done in a large city like Los Angeles.
We will systematically go through the entire city, neighborhood by neighborhood, and inspect every one of these apartment buildings that we have in the city of Los Angeles.
We're talking over 750,000 rental units in the city, and it would become the first of its kind in the nation.
Right now we're in a 5-year cycle because we hadn't been fully staffed from the beginning of the program. And so what we're attempting to do at this point is make inspections of all these areas every 4 years.
Not only the common areas in the outside of the buildings would be inspected, but every interior unit would be inspected.
When the program first came into effect, the owners were outraged, actually.
At the point in time that the SCEP program was proposed through the City Council, as any nonpartisan advocacy group for rental properties would do, we sued the city.
They sued the city of Los Angeles in an attempt to stop the program altogether.
Then we lost, then we appealed, then we sued again.
All the way to the state Supreme Court, and at that level the city was triumphant.
And when it was made very clear that this program was definitely going through, we tried to figure out a way that we could make lemonade out of lemons.
That has ultimately led to actually a very positive, friendly, affirmative working relationship.
We are best at training, they are best at inspecting. We put it together and we could come out with a positive that would affect all of the quality of life in the city of Los Angeles.
Every time people will take a shower, the ceiling will get black and the manager will come and just do a quick thing. Then later on, same problem would happen again. That's when my mom decided to go to Inquilinos Unidos.
The complaint that they have in the apartment is a lot of mold too, right by the window, and it was completely black. And I say, what is this?
Because it wasn't fair for us to be paying rent and they wouldn't fix our places. Inquilinos Unidos told her that they were going to help her do something about it, and they did. So now that inspectors came, little by little, they're fixing the place. It's looking better.
We addressed it right away. First, in the SCEP program, we do send a letter to the owner. The second time when I came in with the inspectors, we take care of it, we notify them, even the health department was here.
So it used to be in Los Angeles that you could make a complaint and there wasn't a system and there wasn't a penalty. So the landlord, what incentive did they have to actually respond to the complaint?
In most cities, apartment inspection is complaint-based. It means you only get people who are at war with one another.
Now, with our systematic code enforcement program, there is a system in place where we can come out to these properties, bring them into good quality standards the first time around, and then we systematically come back.
We're notifying the owners 90 days in advance that we will come by and make an inspection in their building. We'll actually give them a date and time that we will be at the site.
It takes a lot of the pressure off of tenants, and they're very detailed in the reports.
We pretty much lay out all the types of deficiencies that we're going to be looking for.
They know exactly what they have to fix, this electrical problem, this plumbing problem, this structural hazard.
Tenants have made it known to us in community meetings that they have seen a dramatic improvement in the buildings that they live in. A lot of the buildings now have heaters and sufficient water pressure now.
Our men and women are traveling to all four corners of the city every day. Over 1.5 million citations have been issued. Inspectors are now able on-site, on handheld PDAs, to both take photographs, issue citations, and have them downloaded to our mainframe. We calculate the value of the repairs that come along with those violations. We had cost estimators work on these, and we estimated that the moment somewhere in the area of $1.4 billion has been reinvested in the Los Angeles economy because of our program.
So overall, the quality of life for these tenants has increased dramatically.
Well, this is a building that is obviously in the last stages of decline. Before this building got to this condition, many things happened. There was probably deferred maintenance, tax delinquency, and this being the last stage. And it's basically pre-abandonment. This takes a long time for this to happen. So we're now we're proactive. So we would catch a building like this at its early stages and cite it. It would have to be up to code, and it would have to be maintained. By stopping the cycle of decline at its early stages, the other property values around the property go up, and the community doesn't decline, and you don't get the host of problems that come with substandard buildings. Housing is where children come and where parents come at the end of the day. It's an anchor, and if you allow the anchor of your community to deteriorate, you're going to have all kinds of ripple effects throughout your neighborhood.
This is one of the properties that came to our attention under our systematic code enforcement program. Before we got involved with the rehab in this building, it was in horrible substandard conditions. The sewer system, fire life safety issues, things that we take for granted, a lot of people had to suffer under that were occupants of this building.
Once they determined that we were citing the deficiencies and not necessarily just their building, they became more understanding. They were able to understand the program.
We've improved their quality of life issues with their tenants. We've improved the property value for the property owner, and they're often very thankful for us.
At this point, landlords understand the value of having an inspector on site. Everyone is learning. Everybody is figuring out the best way to move forward.
There is such a history there of landlords not wanting to do what the city needs to have done. But when they finally come across owners who are interested in working with them, there's a sigh of relief on both sides.
There is a specific type of developer who gets joy out of taking an older building and bringing it up to code and giving it a new life.
If it's in task force, it's even for the better, because typically owners are looking to dump the buildings or get out of them so they don't have to deal with the task force problem at all. And it's usually a benefit for us because that's what we're set up to do.
In other cities, buildings that have fallen into disrepair, but are beautiful architectural gems, for instance, are torn down.
The bathroom ceilings were caved in. The common areas had not been touched in years. The plumbing was in tatters. The electrical system was in tatters. You couldn't have air conditioning in there because the electrical system was from the 20s. We're upgrading all of that. Brand new plumbing throughout the entire building, brand new electrical system throughout the entire building. They'll actually have water pressure for the first time in 30 years. So the livability standards are going to be transformed dramatically.
We have a 99% success rate in making sure that all of these violations are cleared up. So the vast majority, 99% of landlords are working with us, and it's working well.
It's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the city, it's a win for the tenants, it's a win for the neighborhood, obviously, and it's a win for us.
Some of the owners themselves have told us that they appreciate the work that we've done because it has increased the value of their property. And in addition, some of the tenants that have been living in some of these buildings for a long time had never allowed the owners to go inside and notice the conditions of their particular units.
Friday morning, myself and Inspector Fisher received notification from the Los Angeles Fire Department that there was a hoarding situation here on the east side, which falls under the Housing Department's jurisdiction. As you come in here, you'll see that we have quite a bit of an accumulation of debris and trash and other items that really present a hazard to the tenant and the surrounding properties. There's a great fire hazard here, a great health hazard here. This particular tenant apparently hasn't done much of any type of cleaning in at least 5 years or so. As you can see, these conditions are completely unsanitary. There's vermin crawling everywhere. There's spiders, there's fleas, there's flies, there's a cat box which hasn't been cleaned out in quite some time, cobwebs everywhere, and we actually had a person up until Friday living in here. In this particular situation, the tenant only states that they were sleeping on top of the pile, and that's the best we can figure on this. You have old rancid food, vitamin supplements covered in feces, some sort of animal feces. For whatever reasons being, this particular refrigerator is duct taped shut, so I'm almost scared to see what's in there. Trash everywhere, and there is actually a kitchen sink somewhere under here. We have had other documented situations where the fire department got out, found conditions like these, and had to cut open walls to get people having heart attacks out. And one documented situation, actually in a single-family dwelling, where there was so much stuff that it fell over and crushed the owner to death. We're starting to find somewhere around 5 to 6 of these a week, conditions just like this. Not only these hoarding situations, but other imminent life safety hazards are coming to light because of this program on a far more accelerated basis than in anywhere else in the United States.
I'm one of those people that believes that government can make a difference. And the SCEP program is perhaps the best example that I have ever seen. And when I'm stopped, which happens quite often, both from landlords and tenants, about what a difference it's made in their lives, it's the kind of thing that makes you know at the end of the day that the day was worth it.
I've worked for the city for 28 years. What I do now allows me to see an improvement in a lot of people's lives. I go home at night knowing that we've done something really positive for some families that maybe would not have been able to have this improvement in their lives before.
We have a wonderful relationship. I mean, it's been 9 years since I've been doing this, and it's very gratifying. And I love this program. It's been really good for us because we get it done fast.
We did learn that when you get together, they help you, they do a lot for you. And they fix your place.
I'm Sam Waterston for the Visionaries. Thanks for joining us.
This program was produced by the faculty and students of Visionaries Institute International at Chester College of New England. For more information about Visionaries, the organizations profiled, or educational opportunities, call 1-800-647-5559 or visit our website, visionaries.org. Visionaries is produced in partnership with the Ash Institute for Democratic Governance and Innovation at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Visionaries is made possible in part by W.G. and Margaret Gregg, the International Transport Workers Federation Seafarers Trust, the Campion Fund. Additional funding provided by